certain man AJ is in our control. And not the other way around.
Game over, man. Game over.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
Wolfman's got Mars.
Nobody trusts anybody now.
Come on, you. Hey, you want to live forever?
Now what?
But no matter what happens, Godzilla will win.
And welcome back to the 82nd episode of the Monster Movie Stomp Down. You got your host, Sludge, here. Co-host across from me
is Mark.
The Master from Texas.
Ruben.
And, of course, we talk about the Master of Bullcrap because that's what he is.
Yes.
And my wife has called him out. Now, for those who know or have paid attention, I have been on vacation for the last 11 days, which was great. I did not realize how much I needed a vacation because I've never taken a family vacation with my family. Which is terrible of me. I know. I'm sorry. We've taken like little weekend trips, but like a full blown vacation like this, never done it. I don't know the last time I took a vacation myself. It's had to have been. Oh man, those 2 days in Vegas count when we were on tour. When was that? 2012. Maybe those early.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Gosh, I mean it's been over a decade.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just not a vacation guy. I take 1 day off a year to celebrate Godzilla's birthday. That is not a joke. Mark can testify. I have never worked November 3rd a day in my life, ever.
Exactly. Other than when he goes to watch Titanic.
I do not do that, especially on that day.
Over and over.
But so anyway, so we went on vacation. Now, on the way down, because my wife always hears me and Ruben go back and forth about In-N-Out versus Whataburger, we were able to go to a Whataburger. There was one on the way. And we even went, Ruben, because she wanted the experience so bad. We went 6.1 miles out of the way to go get a Whataburger. She was not happy. She was so mad. She's like, really? Like, that's what? She was so disappointed. There's a chain of burger joints around us called Pal's. She's like, it's like a Pal's burger, but bland. She's like, Pal's is even better than that. Oh, She was so mad. She didn't like their fries. She was like, Ruben doesn't know what he's talking about. That's what she was saying. She's like, I don't believe him anymore. So you have another Whataburger.
I wish there was a way that I can ship her one from Texas up there.
A Texas Whataburger.
But a Texas Whataburger that's made correctly, not by some rookies up there.
Hey, now look, now I want to say, like, whenever I go through a Whataburger, okay, I always get the jalapeno Whataburger. Like, that's my, because I mean, I like them. They're not my favorite burgers. Obviously, we talked about it. But if I get a Whataburger, I'm always going to do the jalapeno because I think the jalapeno is just that. I mean, I'll put it on anything. So that's what I got. Yeah. I got my usual, and it was the same as last time. I mean, like, it was just nothing for me to write home about. Like, it was a good burger, but it wasn't, Because just put it this way, Whataburger has their own salt, their own seasoning, all lined up there. Yeah. Where the grill cook or whatever you want to call it is cooking. So I don't know. I've never had a bad Whataburger that was bland. That was kind of surprising to me. Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like I said, it was the same for me. Like it tasted, my jalapeno Whataburger tasted just like the last one I had. You know what I mean? And I was like, it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, for me, because how my opinion on it. But so maybe for her, she was not a happy camper.
But I will say that when I get my Whataburger, those that aren't familiar, Whataburger's buns are considerably larger than your regular sized hamburger.
Yeah,
because the meat's a little bit bigger.
Yeah,
they're a little bit bigger. So I get it on a small bun, less bread, more meat, and it tastes way better.
I never knew you could do that.
Yeah. Ooh, he just gave away a secret.
He did.
Yeah,
I never knew that.
Yeah, I get it small bun, toasted small bun. Okay, I'll tell everybody how I get my Whataburger. Okay,
here it comes.
I get the single patty. That's the number one with cheese on a small bun with grilled onions and no mustard and mayo. I don't like that stuff. That's how I get mine. So toasted bun, and they grill the onions. They'll grill the jalapenos for you too. As a matter of fact.
Yeah, I got mine. And the onions. I'm with you there too. Yeah, I had them grill the onions.
Yeah. They grill the onions, and then that's how I get my Whataburger. And if I'm really hungry, well, then I'll get the double, but still on a small bun. So that's what I do to get less bread. I'm not a big bread guy.
We ended up
But,
going to a burger. What was that burger place we went and ate at? It was, dang it, what was it called? I can't remember. But I remember it was like, man, it was pretty much $15 a burger for me, the wife, and each of the kids. Like,
Wow.
It was not cheap. But they came out, and it ended up being it was called Augie's. It was in St. Augustine. It's a new restaurant, new burger joint, and it had a big sign voted best new place in St. Augustine, whatever. Augie's Burgers, and dude, I should have, me and Sarah both were like, we should have ordered the kids version because we ordered from the regular menu, and they don't tell you, but it's a double burger. Period. Like, they don't tell you single or double. They come out with
just double,
hand pattied, like just beef burgers, seasoned to the T. Like, I mean, this was a quality burger that just is above and beyond a fast food chain, even like In-N-Out or Whataburger. Like, it was just top notch. But $15 a burger, but I couldn't even eat my fries. I was like, I barely could finish the freaking burger. It was huge.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. But Sarah,
must have been half pound then, huh? At least half pound.
I had to have been.
Half-pound
Had to
burger.
have been a half-pound burger. Had to have been. It was massive. Sarah got done eating hers, and she looked right at me. And she goes, "Way better than Whataburger." And I was like, "Yeah."
Man, he's pounding you tonight, and using Sarah.
Hey, I
as
just
his-
want to let you know
as
what the
his
wife
weapon.
said. So,
Wow.
but I stayed out of it. I wanted her to make up her own mind.
You're not staying out of it now.
I
Are you?
know. Now she's made her decision. I'm gonna rub it in. So,
Yeah.
but no, it was a good trip. I will say that I did discover how big of a nerd I really am on this trip because we did go to Disney and we went to Hollywood Studios and I went to Galaxy's Edge, and yes, I made a lightsaber. And when it happened, I almost cried. I'm not gonna lie. Like, that experience was amazing. And when I'm in that room and you're in there and they're building the lightsaber and then the lights go out all of a sudden and you hear Yoda talk, dude, I had goosebumps and like felt a tear come out my right eye. I looked at my buddy Matt, who had met me up down there for that. And I was like, I just realized how big of a nerd I really am, dude, because I'm totally about to cry right now. Like, this is the most amazing thing ever. Great experience, great vacation, totally needed. But I do want to bring something up because unfortunately during my vacation time, we lost a legend in Mr. Akira Takarada. Passed away on St. Patty's Day. So definitely God rest him and prayers for his family. Passed away suddenly, was hospitalized for pneumonia. And, of course, Akira Takarada was Ogata in the original Godzilla film, and he's been in multiple Godzilla films, Godzilla Sea Monster.
Yeah.
Got Mothra vs. Godzilla and Godzilla Final Wars. Other great movies too, like Iron Finger. Like, he didn't do just Godzilla movies. Like, there's a lot. He has a great slew of movies that he's done. But sadly, he did pass. And me and my daughter were actually are going to a convention in September up in Indianapolis, and we're scheduled to go meet him. But unfortunately, we cannot meet him. So, but definitely prayers for his family and those affected by it, because I mean, dude was a legend and a hero to many. So it was sucked to hear that, but I definitely wanted to make sure, if y'all didn't see on the pages, that you're aware that a legend has left us. So, and if I'm not mistaken, I don't know, the actress that played Emiko, she may still be alive. But as far as I know, if she's not, he was the last, member of the original Godzilla film living.
Really?
Yeah. So, but I think the actress played Emiko is still alive. I think. I'm not sure. I may have to reach out to August for that one just to see if he knows, because he knows everything. So, anyways, yeah. So we are back at it, man, and we have got a great fun monster movie that Mark picked for our giant monster movie this time around is Monster Hunter by Paul W.S. Anderson. And for those who don't know Paul is known for some video game adaptations or comic book type things. He did the first Mortal Kombat. He did, unfortunately, Alien vs. Predator. I love both those franchises, and he totally ruined that. I barely put that above Alien Resurrection, just so anyone knows. But, of course, now he also did send us some great films, one in particular being Event Horizon, who doesn't love Event Horizon?
Oh, yeah. Good movie.
Totally amazing movie. But, so this one is going to be about Monster Hunter, and this is based off a video game series that I found out that actually him and his wife, Mila Jovovich, because he also did the Resident Evil series, and Mila Jovovich starred in those. And for those who don't know, Mila Jovovich is married to Paul Anderson, but they were actually big fans of the video game series. On a trip to Japan, they picked it up or something like that, and he fell in love with it and fought for the rights pretty early. So we will jump into that one. So let's kind of get rolling, man. Here's the trailer.
Falcon Main, this is Bravo team. Request immediate support. There's some kind of rip in the sky.
Captain, do you have any idea what those markers are?
They look pretty ancient.
The tracks end here. It's definitely Bravo team.
They don't just disappear.
Where the hell are we?
That lightning, it hit those markers and it took us somewhere.
Guys!
So what? Are we like Guardians of the Galaxy now?
On our six!
Yeah, bros. Holy shit.
Did you see that thing? Come back!
This is officially above my pay grade.
I don't care what those creatures are. We destroy them and close the gateway.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm getting us all home.
Have you ever wondered why older horror movies trigger such nostalgic feelings with us?
Or have you ever wanted a podcast that shines a light on newer horror movies that carry a banner like movies of old? Or even puts focus on independent creators?
Or maybe you just want to listen to two guys who are big advocates of werewolves getting normal everyday jobs. Ooh, they're kind of like me.
If you're anything like us, you've probably said, "Give me back my horror."
If you have, then Nate, Charlie, and Nate's insatiable bloodlust have just the podcast for you.
Give me back my horror movies.
And seeing as we have a spooky podcast of our own, we know a thing or two about horror. And I know you hear me when I say these guys keep it spooky.
And after you've gotten your horror fix from Nate and Charlie, come check out our podcast brought to you by Flynn Hendricks Enterprises. Tales from the Haunt and I Know You Hear Me. Available wherever you get your podcast.
Stay spooky.
All right, so that was the trailer for Monster Hunter. Then, of course, a commercial for our brothers Charlie and Nate, and the occasional Pete appearance at Give Me Back My Horror Movies. If you guys haven't heard the newest episode, they just did a Korean film that Pete picked called Thirst, and it's a vampire film. Wild movie, I will say that. So definitely mature audiences warning for that film. Oh. But if you're looking for a different vampire movie that you need a fresh vampire film, recommend seeing Thirst.
And Pete picked that one out?
Pete picked that one out, yeah. So I haven't had a chance to listen to the episode yet. Well, by the time you guys listen to this, I will have listened to the episode, but we record on Tuesdays. But I'm excited to listen to it because I like to hear what everybody thinks, especially Charlie and Nate. I like to hear what they have to say about it.
Yeah, some of the movies Pete picks out is quite questionable.
Oh, man. Mark's still got a bad taste of in his mouth from Shipping Monsters.
I think it's about time we hire Pete to pick another movie for the show, just for Mark. Yeah. Mark's birthday's coming up in May. So we may have to have Pete pick a Mark celebration film.
Oh, that's scary. Just the thought of that's scary.
So, but anyway, so Monster Hunter came out in 2020. This movie had a $60 million budget, but unfortunately, and I will say it's probably because of COVID, it didn't do as well as it could have, but it did $45 million at the box office. And again, this movie was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Of course, stars his wife because she stars in like all of his movies, Mila Jovovich. It's also got Tony Jaa, and then it's got Ron Perlman in it. Pretty good cast, but it came out to mixed reviews. Most of the negative reviews were more harped towards the directing and editing of the film, but a lot of the positive reviews came towards Mila Jovovich, Tony Jaa, Ron Perlman, and then, of course, the monsters. For those who don't know, the game series came out in Japan. The first one came out in 2004 or 2007. It was on a PlayStation 2, the first Monster Hunter. And while the Monster Hunter series has done insanely well in Japan, Japanese market, it is available in the Western market, but didn't really take hold until the most recent one, Monster Hunter World, which is an amazing freaking game. And the biggest reason being is the control scheme, really. Like, just the way that the game's done, the schematics of the game and the control scheme is quite difficult. It's kind of a major learning curve. I remember playing the first Monster Hunter on PlayStation 2, and even thought then, I'm like, man, it's a bit of a learning curve, because all I play is mostly action RPGs and stuff like that. So, but the game series is absolutely fun. It's real huge, especially became really big on the portable systems, because in Japan, while over here in America, we're real big on home consoles and PC. In Japan, the handheld systems are actually more popular because, I mean, you're talking, in Tokyo, you've got millions of people, and it's so easy that to just carry a handheld device like a PlayStation Portable or a Nintendo DS or now the Switch, and just start playing with any random person. Like, it's a phenomenon over there how much handheld games.
Did not know that.
Yeah, it's huge. And so the co-op abilities from the I think it was what they call it. It was Monster Hunter Freedom here. I can't remember what they called it over there. It's the same game, just had two different names. Was just massive because, I mean, you could just walk around anywhere in Japan and all of a sudden just be playing with a bunch of people. So, I mean, the series just took off big time with its co-op. But Capcom really wanted to capsize on the Western audience for the consoles, and so they really redid the system. They wanted to keep it true to its roots, but make it more palpable to the Western gamers who like the consoles and the PC stuff with Monster Hunter World, and did so well at that. That game sold over 20 million units. It's the number one selling game for Capcom. Like, wow, that's above the Resident Evil series. Now, the Resident Evil series is still a much more profitable series than Monster Hunter is as a whole, but their highest selling game is Monster Hunter World. And of course, they did a DLC for it as well called Iceborne, which was awesome. But anyways, so the movie is based off of the game series. Paul W. Sanderson and Mila Jovovich, both big fans. Paul fought for the rights for like 5 years or something like that to do it. Actually, when Monster Hunter World sold 20 million units, I can't remember who, maybe it was Warner Brothers, I can't remember. Somebody went after the rights to do a movie and couldn't get it because Paul had the rights. Like, he'd already, he was so on board about making a movie because he loves the game so much. Now, it went through a few scripting changes, I do know, because originally it was more based off of the older games, but with Monster Hunter World coming out, they did change the script to fit it a little bit more. So I mean, the concept of the movie and the monsters and the characters are all kind of from Monster Hunter World itself. So in the movie, the main character, of course, is Mila Jovovich. She plays a Army Ranger named Artemis. She is transported to the New World, what is called the New World. It's a parallel world that is full of giant monsters. And this is done through a ancient device from an ancient civilization called the Sky Tower. Causes these portals to open and sends her entire unit over there. And very quickly, her unit is dispatched almost immediately from a monster called the Diablos. And then these spider monsters called Nursilla wipe out pretty much her whole unit. It's just her. In the process of this, she runs into Hunter, who's played by Tony Jaa. You meet him at the beginning of the movie as you see Hunter on a ship that is sailing through the sands, which is really freaking cool, with Ron Perlman, who is the admiral of the ship, and of course his name's Admiral, as they're on their way to Sky Tower to try and stop these portals from happening. They get attacked by Diablos. Hunter gets thrown off. He does survive, and he meets up with Artemis, and they have to kind of come to terms with each other because they butt heads. They fight a lot at the beginning, almost kind of like, Patrick Swayze, Dennis Quaid and Lou Gossett Jr. in Enemy Mine.
Oh yeah,
great
movie.
Oh, phenomenal movie.
Yes,
I actually brought that up for a reason that I'll talk about later in the episode. So they're at odds, but then they realize they have to work together, and they do kind of become friends through this process to kill the Diablos, so that they can get to Sky Tower to get Artemis back to her world, and for Hunter to close the portals. So they do manage to kill the Diablos after getting some poison from the Nersilla. Again, they are spider-like creatures. They do manage, in what is an amazing fight, to kill the Diablos, and then they head towards Sky Tower to end up meeting up with Admiral and the rest of the crew from the ship during an attack by the Rathalos. And for those who haven't played the game, the Rathalos is like the top dog dragon in the game, like fire-breathing, just impossible to kill monster. Like if you're playing the game, you're not killing a Rathalos by yourself. I don't care how good you are. You got to have a team to kill the Rathalos. So they end up teaming up and going to the Sky Tower to kill the Rathalos and try and stop these portals from happening. During the fight, Artemis and the Rathalos gets transported back to our world, where he makes very quick work of the U.S. military. Very quick work of the U.S. military. Maybe even faster than Godzilla. Like he wipes him out real fast. And of course, she goes one-on-one, toe-to-toe with Rathalos. And Hunter shows up, Tony Jaa does, and helps her defeat him and kill him. And then Admiral shows up as well, and they realize that they have got to go back to the New World and destroy the Sky Tower, stop these portals from happening, because now the monsters are starting to come through. And the last thing you see in the movie is they jump through the portals back to the Sky Tower to fight a Gore Magala, which is awesome. That's a black dragon from the game. It was a great sequence, and if you actually stay to the credits, they're fighting the Gore Magala, and then a freaking Palico shows up, and it was so freaking cool. Palico, by the way, as you watch the movie, is this cat humanoid creature. Palico was the assistant to the Admiral in the games, but ended up becoming a chef because he loves to cook. And so when you see him in the movie, he's a chef at this time. So you get to see Palico, which is pretty cool. Not much to the plot of this movie at all. Like I said, soldier gets transferred to the New World, has to fight giant monsters, then ends up deciding to have to stay with the main characters in the New World to stop the monsters from bleeding over to Earth. That's it. And there's nothing else to it. I see. I went first, so I think, Ruben, you're up.
Okay, I'll go first.
Notice the shirt he's got on.
He's got a Kiss shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wearing a Kiss shirt because we had to watch Kiss Meets the Phantom.
Oh, yeah.
I'll be glad to talk about that one later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you... Never again.
I mean, that was such a terrible experience.
Oh, man, hurt me.
I thought I was doing Mark a favor and torturing Sludge, but
nope. I had an absolute blast.
Good one.
So we'll get to that. So, anyways, Monster Hunter.
Yeah,
what did you think of Monster Hunter?
Yeah. Well, I was at a disadvantage or advantage, depending on how you, because I hadn't played any of the video games. I didn't even know it was a video game movie until I brought it up, and then I started researching it. I'm like, oh, it's a video game movie. Should have known from the cast that it was a video game movie, and the director, of course. But actually, I mean, you're right. The plot's not that strong. It's you could tell it's a video game movie almost immediately. Which, some people like that, I thought Mila Jovovich, I'm going to butcher her name. Mila Jovovich. See, I can't get it out. Anyway, I thought she did a great job on this movie, as a matter of fact.
Oh, wait, let me fix it. I butchered that Lorna movie. It's Mila Jovovich.
Jovovich.
There you go.
It just came out. It may never come out right again. Mila Jovovich did a pretty good job in this one. As a matter of fact, I don't know why, but she just never smiles in it. I don't remember her ever smiling in any movies, and she smiles in this one, and she's got a beautiful smile.
Yeah, she smiles a lot in it, actually.
Yeah.
My favorite one is the one with Palico. Like when she's getting off the ship and Palico winks at her and she just smiles and starts laughing.
Yeah.
I love that part.
Yeah. And I'm like, man, she's got a beautiful smile. She's always got a serious look on her face in all the other movies, it seems like. Even in Dazed and Confused, she had, just a sullen look about her most of the time. But anyway, so I thought she did great. The acting was pretty decent. And you're right. You right away know Toho was involved in this because those monsters are incredible. Best part of the movie was her acting and these monsters. They were. I mean, I don't know if that's what they look like in the video game. If they went off the video game or
not. They do. They're pretty.
Okay.
They're pretty spot on. I was impressed.
Well, I was totally blown away by it. There's not much to the story, but if you're just wanting to sit down and watch a good old fashioned monster movie with a little bit of a plot in it, with a little bit of the human part, human parts in there, this is the movie for you because it has that. The plot's not strong, but the acting is great and the monster design is great. Ron Perlman does a great job too in it. I love the beginning where it's a ship going through a desert, basically trying to get to the tower when it's attacked by the Diablo. And so all in all, I think it's it's an enjoyable movie. It's fun. If plot is something you're looking for, or some deep thought type of movie, this is not going to be the movie for you because it doesn't have any of that. This is just good old monster fun. And the battles between Mila and I already forgot his name, Tony Jaa, are great, because they first meet and they don't know who they're dealing with, neither one of them, so they immediately just assume they're enemies. You brought up what I forgot the name of the movie, Alien
vs. Predator.
No, you just brought it up with Louis Gossett Jr. and
Enemy Mine.
Enemy Mine. You brought up Enemy Mine. I'm a Planet of the Apes guy, so I went. There's an episode in the TV series of Planet of the Apes where Urkel gets trapped in a. There's like an earthquake, and it's basically Urkel, which is an ape, and then there's a human, and they're forced to work with each other because they're trapped. They've fallen into a pit and they're trapped. And they're trying to escape. And that's what it reminded me of. It reminded me exactly of that from that Planet. I think it's called Escape from Planet of the Apes TV series. It was one of my favorite episodes. I guess that's why when that happened and they were fighting, because that's how they start off. They start off fighting, and then they end up having to work together to escape. So that's what that reminded me of. So the battles were great. The choreography of those battles was awesome. And the battle scenes of the monsters were awesome as well. So, and even when the Rathalos comes through the portal and attacks the military, that is an awesome scene that was well done.
Oh yeah, because it's in the desert too. And
it's in the desert.
So there's no buildings to destroy. There's military, but no buildings. And it was epic.
Yeah, it was just wide open space. Afghanistan, I think, is where they were at. Kabul is where I ended up figuring out they were in, but it was in the desert, basically, in our world, the old world, I guess. The funny thing is, even in the new world, it was desert. Yeah, which it was still desert. So all in all, it's a fun film. It's just like if you guys are looking for something deep, with deep meaning, and even they were enemies that became friends. It wasn't that much of a deep meaning to that either, other than teamwork. Teamwork is the way to beat the monsters, which they both knew. So all in all, a fun movie. It's not the best I've ever seen, but it's not the worst either. So let's just go with that.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Shred Sleestack here with a breaking news bulletin. Areas of Southern California are experiencing an influx of aggressive wildlife. Reports coming in advise of a possible invasive species attacking local citizens are on the rise. These creatures are reportedly around 1 to 2 feet in height, travel in small groups, and are drawn to alcoholic beverages. They've already attacked several people at a local ice cream shop, a town fair, and possibly even killed a teenager. Local authorities are working on capturing and disposing of these dangerous animals. If you see one, do not approach or attempt to feed them. Please alert your local authorities immediately and seek safe shelter. This is Shred Sleestack. Stay safe out there.
So yeah, I think it's an absolute blast. Before I get going, Mark, Let's hear what you think. You picked it.
And I agree. I mean, it's not one of those deep movies that you're going to come in and be glued to and just get some kind of revelation off of it. It's a movie that you come in and you want to watch, and it starts from the very beginning and just keeps on action all the way through. The monsters are good. The special effects are fantastic. And I agree with it, Ruben. The acting's great in it. I mean, for what you have, what characters you have, because
exactly,
they kind of wipe everybody out right there in the beginning, and so the characters that you do get to know, I think they do a great job, and it's definitely a worth watching, fun movie, and thumbs up, good to go on it.
I loved it. Like, for me, going into it, like before I saw it, I knew, obviously in the trailer when you see it, or before even the trailer, I knew it was coming, because we all keep up on movie news now in today's society. I knew Paul Anderson was attached to it. So the moment I see his name, the bar is immediately dropped to like almost lowest.
Well, and I actually saw the movie and then bought the game. I didn't buy the game.
So the movie made you buy the game.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
So, but for me, it was reverse.
Right.
Like I played the games and then saw the movie. So that's cool to know that it was good enough of a movie. You're like, I got to play the games now.
Yeah.
For me, it was still, I love the freaking games. And even though it's Paul W.S. Anderson, I want to see these monsters come to life. Because, again, with Paul W.S. Anderson on it, I know people like some of his movies. Event Horizon's really it for me. Like, I'm not a big fan. I know you're a big fan of the Resident Evil series.
Yes.
I just am not. So far, none of the live action movies have done it for me. The newest one was pretty good, but the animated Resident Evil movies are where it's at. But for me, no one's knocked out of the park with the live actions yet. Even though I know you're a fan. So, but then of course the first Mortal Kombat, Alien versus Predator. Unfortunately, so my expectations with him are low. So I went into the movie not expecting much at all, like very little. So what I got kind of blew me away because I was like, "This is freaking great!" Like my bar was already so low. The script, there's no story to it. But you're not going to bring an action RPG like Monster World, which doesn't really have a huge story to it anyways, because the game's not all about the story. It's all about the experience, the quests, and then working together. It is really about teamwork, like Ruben was talking about with how, Artemis and Hunter are in the movie. That's really what the drive of the game is. But I absolutely freaking loved it. The monsters were top notch. Really freaking good. I honestly like the way they look better than the monsters in Pacific Rim. Like when I saw Diablos and especially Rathalos, I'm like, there's not a Jaeger in those Pacific Rim movies that compete with this. You know what I mean? Like they just looked top notch. And what I liked about what Paul did with this movie, the directing wasn't the best, but none of his directing is the best, minus Event Horizon. Is he kept so many things to the game that was cool. So like Ruben, you probably obviously wouldn't know because you don't play the games, but Mark, you were like, you noticed like her blades, they're in the game.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. His longsword is in the game. Like the grappling gun she uses, it's in the game. A lot of the armor's pieces of the game. So he really incorporated aspects of the game into the movie, even down to the point when you see some of the other characters from the New World, the part of the ship, they've got like mixed matched pieces. Because as you go through the game, you get mixed matched pieces because you've got to go kill certain monsters or a certain amount of them to get enough material to build the next piece to your collection. Right. Because you don't just start like, okay, you've got this set of this monster's armor. Well, you've got the chest plate, you've got the gauntlets, everything's a different piece. You don't get it all at once. You have to gain it piece by piece.
Right.
So you walk around the game with this type of armor on the shoulder pads, this type of chest piece, this type of so it's inevitable throughout the game you're going to look funny as all get out because you got multiple pieces of different from different monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
And they put that detail in the game or in the movie, so I thought that was awesome. Again, the acting was great. I really thought that Jovovich and Jaw as Artemis and Hunter worked very well together. Just so good together. Even down to the point where, like after the fight, like she offers him the chocolate and he loses his mind over chocolate. Or like when he uses her as bait to get the Nursilla venom. You know what I mean? And she's like, next time you're bait. And then like they make it through the desert and they get to like that, the grassy area and there's the water. And she's like, can I go get water? And he's like, yeah. And he's got that evil looking like crappy grin on his face.
Great.
And she goes to the water, then this other thing comes popping out, and he goes, ha, bait. I was like, dude, this is great. I'm like, they were great together on screen.
Yeah, they did. Their chemistry was awesome.
Oh, yeah, so good. And of course, Perlman is Perlman. Like, I love Perlman and everything. Like, that dude's just awesome. And he was great as the Admiral in this. The other characters, I mean, like her whole team, dude, they get wiped out in the first 10 minutes, and you don't care because you're not going to care about them. Like, they're just in the way. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, get them out the way. Give me Artemis, give me Hunt, give me the main people, and let's get through it. And they did a great job. I mean, the Narcilla's nest was just terrifying. Like when Link, the one, like her lieutenant or whatever in her squad, who manages to survive the spider attack, the Narcilla attack, he's like in all this pain. But she's like, what's going on? He rips open his shirt. And they had injected eggs into him, and the spiders start coming out his side and eating him. I'm like, dude, this is all. I mean, like, it's awesome. And they just nailed all the monsters, dude. And like, even the part with Jovovich going 1-on-1 against Rathalos. I'm like, dude, come on. I mean, like most movies, you're like, that ain't gonna happen, but they made it look awesome. And I didn't care. I mean, she's even when she's lighting that flare, like you can tell she's screaming like from the pain and stuff. I'm like, dude, y'all did a fantastic job. Fight sequences were freaking great. Monsters looked awesome. Sets were amazing. I mean, I loved it. And the soundtrack was perfect. Like it's that, I don't know, steampunk, techno metal soundtrack that you wouldn't think would fit. But man, I thought it fit this movie perfect. Like I just loved it. It was almost like an 80s, almost like if John Carpenter was to do the soundtrack for an action video game movie, this would have been his soundtrack, right? You know what I mean? Because it's got all those key tones and things like that. So I love the soundtrack. So I mean, for me, I love this movie. I thought it was really good because I'm a big fan of the series. The directing really lacked. Some of the editing was very You know what I mean? So, I mean, it got a knock because of that. But for me, my bar was low going in because it's Paul W.S. Anderson. When I say low, I mean like Street Fighter low, So
wow. I can see your thinking there with,
dude, I mean,
we got to compare it to Street Fighter.
I'm sorry, man, but like when I have high hopes for Resident Evil and you ruined it for me, and then you did Alien vs. Predator and just totally pissed me off with my two of my favorite franchises. And he'd be a PG-13 piece of garbage. I was so mad, dude. So mad.
The thing is about stuff like that Resident Evil was like my first horror game that I ever played. When you have that material and you still can't make a good movie, then you're gonna get gigged for that.
Oh, big time. Big time.
You're gonna get when you have that material. I mean, that Resident Evil material and what he ended up doing with it. I mean, I'm sorry.
I mean, dude. So, I mean, one of the maybe the most iconic scene in the first Resident Evil game is when you're walking through the one hallway and you come up on the cop eating the other cop, and and he turns his head. Like that was terrifying when the first game came out. Where was that in the first Resident Evil movie? What happened there? Now they didn't
show up.
They did it in the new one, and it was cool. Yeah. But it was, to me, even in the new one, it felt a little too late type deal.
Exactly. Yeah.
So for a guy who did Event Horizon, which is one of the greatest science fiction horror films of all time, in my opinion, I don't know how he misses the mark so much on some other things. But I will give him nods on this one. This is definitely better than the Resident Evil or AVP films, in my opinion, as far as his outing. But,
I would definitely say all around, even her acting was better than in the Resident Evil.
Oh, definitely.
I mean, everything was. I don't know if. I don't know what went down with Resident Evil and why. It could be I'm just biased because I played the video games, and that's why on this one I was a little concerned with. I didn't play the video game on this one, so that to me is an advantage because nothing's going to taint me. If I want to play the video game and nothing's going to taint me, it's going to be I'm coming in fresh. It's kind of it's the Godzilla 98 syndrome. If you've never ever seen a Godzilla movie ever, and then you watch Godzilla 98, maybe you feel different about it.
You won't be as jaded.
Yeah,
from that one.
exactly.
But I will say from playing the games, like I wasn't disappointed from a fan of the games going into the movie. Only because there was so much that he really stuck true. You know what I mean? Like the way the monsters looked, the little details, again with like the different armor sets and weapons, and I'm like, dude, you really do play these video games. And even so they did an interview with Mila, and she plays these video games. Like they're both big fans of the series. And before the movie came out, she had even said something along the lines like she hopes it does really good because Paul was already writing the script for a sequel. You know what I mean? Like he had a whole plan for a series of these films. I don't know if it'll happen. I would hope it would happen. Like I would love to see a second one.
You know, that came out right in the middle of COVID, so it's kind of hard to judge how that movie did. Because look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I never even heard of this movie until you brought it up.
Really?
Never. No, wasn't even on my radar.
Well, there were so many movies at the beginning of that where it really kind of, I remember watching it going through, it was like, man, that sucks. It didn't do as, but theaters were closed, and then you had ones coming to the stream.
I think it's hard to judge the movie based on the money it made because of COVID.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying, that it may get a sequel just because they can't judge it off that one right there. They just can't do it, you know? Because even when Godzilla Kong came out, I mean, that took a little bit of a hit, even though it was already when things were getting back to normal. But I talked to so many people that were still afraid to go to a movie theater when that movie came out. They were like, well, I don't think I'm going to go do that. And, they saw it on HBO Max. But, I mean, I don't know if HBO Max kept track of the numbers of people that were actually streaming it or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even like movies like, which I went to theaters and saw it. We went to theaters and saw it, and then watched that night on HBO Max still.
Right. Yeah, I did too. And I remember people telling me, "Oh man, you went to the movies? So you sure that was safe?" I'm like, "Man, I said, yeah. I mean, I got to see this in the theater on a big screen." I said, they had stuff in place, safety precautions, and they back then they were separating you by 2-3 seats. So it was your party, and then there was 3 seats, and then there was the next party of people there, and so I said they separated. I felt perfectly safe, but that had an effect. So I'm hoping, because this is a good enough movie that it should get a sequel to get a fair shot anyway.
Oh yeah, because they're getting a rough time. I mean, even Bloodshot, Vin Diesel's Bloodshot, like it had like a $50 million budget, and it only ended up doing, because it came out during COVID, like $37 million. I mean, and even if the movie isn't that great, which I thought was a pretty good movie, but even with, negative reviews, it's got Vin Diesel. So you're guaranteed you're going to make more than your budget back.
Right. And you're almost guaranteed negative reviews, because Vin Diesel's not one to draw, just as face it, most of these reviewers are snobs.
Yeah. Anyway. I mean, look at the Fast and Furious. Like they get a lot of negative reviews, but man, they make bank because it's Vin Diesel,
because
just like The Rock.
So that's the way I look at it. I'll read some of the reviews, but if it's the kind of movies that I like, I already know they're very rarely going to give it, a positive review. Some exceptions are like Wonder Woman, because they're not gonna dare say something bad about a superhero movie with a woman as the lead. Right. But actually, that's an excellent. The first Wonder Woman is
that is excellent
by far an excellent piece of film. DC got it right with that one.
Yep.
But so the reviewers, I don't know how much stock I put into them. So I would definitely go see it. And because when this new Resident Evil came out, I was excited for it. I went and saw it, and it got some lukewarm reviews. But if they made a sequel, I'd definitely go see it.
Oh yeah, and same here. Like I hope Paul makes a sequel to Monster Hunter, because I would love to. I mean, it ended perfect, and then the credit sequence you get, especially when Palico comes jumping in, I was like, dude, please give me another one. Like I was so stoked. I hope they make another one, because this was a fun ride of a film. Fun ride,
and I really did love that character. That cat character was
he was
just
great.
Awesome. Because even he gives her a little wink on the way out. Like you said, she smiles and laughs about him, because when she first sees him, she's kind of taken aback, and I loved her reaction in that.
It's so good.
She made, I was never a huge fan of her, but this movie made me a fan of her. Now I'm like, she's not bad at all. She's a pretty good actress, and she's not hard on the eyes.
Yeah. I love her in this.
Easy on the eyes.
She's
easy on the eyes.
Well, we know that's what Ruben looks for. Those easy looking ones. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, it's Stomp Down rating time. All right, so this one got a little bit of a varied rating from us. So overall, 3.5 stomps out of 5 on this one. Great fun film. It's definitely worth the watch, but we did vary a little bit. We ranged from 3 all the way to 4. I think, Ruben, you had the 3, right?
I had the 3.
Mark had the 3.5, and I had the 4.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
And just a quick recap on the only thing I dinged it.
Yeah.
Golly.
You smacked it for what, okay?
So was the direction. It did lack in the directing and the editing, but the giant monsters, the action, Jovovich and Jaw together, and the soundtrack and of course, again, like I told y'all, my bar was set really freaking low. So I was super surprised by this film. So I had to give it I gave it a 4 because, I was impressed with it because my bar was set so low, and it's just so much fun. I think it's just... it was one of those ones when the credits end and you see them and it's super long, 30 seconds of them running towards the portal, running towards the Gormagal, in super Zack Snyder slow-mo, and it's never going to end, but the whole time I'm going, yeah! And then all of a sudden you see him jump through, and Monster Hunter, I was like, give me more, so I loved it.
So who's the guy in the hooded
now that I don't know, because that was a mysterious...
I thought maybe you knew from the game.
Well, there are some characters in the game, some NPCs, where I was like, it could have been this guy, it could have been this, but I'm not sure. There was not enough giveaway.
I did not know.
For
well,
me
then
to
you
go.
know what? Then that's even better for a sequel. I want to know who, because I'm like, who is he? And I'm like, well, I've never played the game, so I don't know.
Yeah,
so it was one of those moments, kind of like when Thanos made his appearance in the Marvel universe. Fine, I'll do it myself. I'm like, we all knew who he was, but there was a lot of people like, who was that? Who was that? Who was that? And I'm like, man, that's Thanos. And so I thought maybe that was a Thanos moment there with the hooded guy.
Oh, no,
so
not that I could tell. Like I said, unless he's in one of the other side games that I missed. As far as the main series, no one stuck out to me when I was watching it, going, "No, it was this guy."
Well, maybe our listeners, when we put out this show, maybe they can respond to us on our social media.
Yes, and let us know who that was.
Or at least give us a theory. Give us a theory of who he is, because I sure as heck don't know who he is.
No idea. Yeah. So, but all right, yes. So, 3.5 total from all of us. Very fun film. Definitely worth the watch. It's super entertaining. If you want a good, like I said, good monster movie, totally worth going and checking that movie out.
Yeah, I gave it a low score, but nothing to do with the acting or the monsters. My low score came from the lack of plot and a kind of formulary video game movie, but so is Rampage, and I enjoy Rampage too.
That was very video game movie as well. Sweet. Well, all right. Anything else you guys want to say on this one before we move to?
No, we are good on this.
All right. Well, I know you guys are waiting to hear what me and Mark thought of the horrible movie that Ruben
rock and roll
chastised us with.
Every day.
So let's jump into it. It's time to test your might.
Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might. Test your might.
All right, so let's get this started with me and Mark lost the last round to Ruben, and he tortured us with Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park. Mark, what was your experience like watching this film?
It was really painful to have sit and watch because it just brought back all kinds of memories, and I was smiling the whole time. Lord, I went and seen him 8 times live in concert, so I loved it.
You got me beat. I didn't see him that many times. Good Lord.
I loved it. could watch it over and over. In fact, when it wouldn't come up on the Plex, I was very disappointed.
Oh, I heard about it. I called him.
Oh, it wasn't on the Plex?
I got it fixed. I got it fixed. Okay.
In time, yeah.
So let me ask, which version do you have on the Plex? The
have
movie version or the actual TV version?
I've got the actual TV version.
That's the better one.
Yep.
That is the better one, yeah.
I loved it. Great movie. I'm kind of glad I lost the
bet on that one.
Yeah,
man, I got to tell you, the experience for me was absolutely amazing. Like I had a blast watching it, dude. Like just hearing there's 18. Well, in the European version, there's like 18 songs, all Kiss songs.
Yeah,
but the whole soundtrack, dude, is top notch.
And
like it's just as cheesy as can get. Like because they wanted to make a superhero. Because at the time, Kiss was the top. The top of their fame.
Oh yeah, they were on top of their game. I mean, they were the epitome of.
Oh yeah, dude. 10 million records on that last record. Yeah. They're like, what else could they do? And what was their manager's name? He was in the car wreck with Peter at the end of the filming of this. God, I can't remember his name. He suffered some burns, but their manager, the guy, he managed them forever. He was one of came up with the idea.
Bill LaCoin?
Was that
manager?
No, it wasn't Bill. No, it was a Paul. It was the one dude had a weird last name. Postlethwaite. Fritz Postlethwaite. He was their tour manager for freaking ever. He was part of the reason for this movie happening because they were trying to figure out a way to make them more famous, and they had just done the Kiss comics with Marvel. And so, like, let's make a movie. They pitched it to the band. The band were like, let's go for it and do this. That's what this was, man. It was just a pure cheesy, campy superhero movie.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they fight white monkeys. They fight. They fight pretty much the whole Universal Monster collection. I mean, like in that thrillers thing. The guy that Abner has at the park. So he fights Frankenstein, the Wolfman.
He's
the
got
mummy,
everybody there.
And Gene torches the mummy, which was freaking great. And then they fight themselves, like the robotic evil versions of themselves, like. And they have their own superpowers and their talismans. Like, I love this movie, dude. Like, this movie was just so much fun.
Job well done, Ruben.
Oh,
Job
I mean,
done.
Terrible dialogue, terrible freaking acting, but it's fun and cheesy. But now
you see, but it's Kiss. Exactly. I remember when that came out on TV. I was a kid. I was 6th grade. Man, that was an event. That was an event. Because we all sat and watched it, and the next day, that's all we talked about for days. To us kids, it was the best thing that ever came out on TV. It was just awesome.
Oh, dude!
As I got older, I'm like, man, this is getting harder to watch. Because you can't, you got to get past the imperfections, which there's a lot of. I mean, you have. Their stand-ins were.
It is full of imperfections from start to finish, man. But I think that's its charm nowadays. It's really the charm. Like even like, who was it? Because I know for a while, like I was reading interviews where like you couldn't even if you were around them, you couldn't bring up the movie. Gene, Gene was
because they were
talk about it.
Yeah, because they from what I read, they were truly embarrassed at the final product because they were promised one thing and that was not what they got.
Yeah, but I've heard nowadays though, Gene had done an interview and somebody asked him about it, and he laughs it off. It's like, man, it's just cheesy fun because I think he said it would make the perfect companion film to Plan 9 from Outer Space, like at a drive-in.
Yeah.
Yes, it would. That would be
absolutely comparing. That is a good comparison. Yeah, that is actually pretty good.
I would go see a double bill of that. Yeah. So thank you, Ruben.
We do appreciate it.
Well, that's going to be it. That's going to be it for y'all's luck. I can tell you that right
now. But before we go to the questions, I do want to say the reason I brought up Enemy Mine. Did you all notice who was in this movie?
Yeah, Mila Jovovich was in it. It's Ron Perlman. And,
no, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park.
Kiss Meets. Let's see.
He's in it a few times.
That's in this movie.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure on.
Now, I'm not talking about Don Steele's in it. The DJ's in it, but I'm not talking about him. He plays a guard in the movie, one of the police officers.
What is it? Yes,
Brian Jones.
Yeah, I
Brian Jones. He plays the mining boss in Enemy Mine. He was in Blade Runner. He's the commander in Fifth Element, Bruce Willis's old commander.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Brian Jones is in this, man. He plays one of the guards in it. I forgot about that. I saw him. I'm like, is that him? Like, dude, that's totally Brian Jones. Like, that is freaking awesome. Yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. I'm like, yeah, you're cool enough to get him in it. It's a good enough movie for me. So,
yeah, there you go.
All right, you guys ready for this round of questions?
Oh Lord, here we go.
Yeah, who knows what we're going to get from Charlie? Because it could be.
Well,
anything.
you do, obviously.
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, we've already established
that's why
that.
Before the show, there was a long. I mean, his chair was empty.
Oh yeah, I sent you a picture. It was empty.
Yeah, it was empty. And I'm thinking he was in another room conversing with Charlie on what the questions are going to be.
I sat down here for almost 40 minutes by myself, and he was just gone.
No, not just gone. Okay, I was putting the kids to bed, like because the wife had an emergency, man. She had to take care of her grandpa.
Oh yeah, listen to that. You can just,
oh yeah.
I was told that you were playing with your lightsaber in your room. That's what I was told.
Hey, well, no, I was playing with my lightsaber outside.
And
Come on,
I'm like, hey,
right?
He needs that's
so
the kind of thing.
I'm so proud of this lightsaber that I just put right in the front porch. Well, okay, we're going a little far.
Okay, let's back up. Where are we at?
That light. Oh, I thought it was a euphemism.
No. Gosh. All right.
That's what I say. If he was Catholic, he'd have to go to confession for that.
Let's get to these questions. It's getting out of hand over here. Okay. All right, let me pull them up. All right. So, and of course, like Charlie, you can see tons of letters, so I can't see what's first. So all right.
Yeah, I got you.
Number one.
Yeah.
All right. First question. While it's hard to see around the microphone, while famously married to Monster Hunter director Paul W.S. Anderson, what movie did Mila Jovovich star in that wasn't Resident Evil, but was also directed by her husband? So what movie was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson that she starred in? A, Ultraviolet, B, Three Musketeers, or C, Hellboy, the 2019 film? Well, we should know which one that's not.
Hey, man, don't be looking
easy
at
I ain't gotta look
money.
at you, baby.
That's easy money right there.
There you go. Oh, see if he's talking smack. All right. You guys got your answers for that one?
Yeah.
All right. Number two. Ruben, this might hurt you. In the in the video game Monster Hunter, what is the ancient tower supposedly made out of?
Ooh, I don't
A,
know that.
Kushala Daora, B, Elder Dragon remains, or C, stone?
Yeah, it is. That's not fair, Charlie. I'm just going to say that right now. That has nothing to do with the movie whatsoever. So what are the answers? I mean, what is the three choices?
A, Kushala Daora, B, Elder Dragon remains, or C, stone? What is the ancient tower supposed to be made out of?
I'm going to just guess on that one.
All right. Number three.
I guess with you. So
despite all of its problems, Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park was the second biggest TV movie of the year. What was the number one TV movie that same year? Star Wars Holiday Special, Doctor Strange, or Shogun?
I'm pretty sure I know that one.
Phantom of the Park is 77.
Man, but yeah.
Well, I know which
it
one.
was 79, wasn't it?
No, 79 was Dynasty already. They were, maybe.
No.
Yeah, okay.
That's a good one.
Okay, what was the choices again? I think I know.
Star Wars Holiday Special, B, Doctor Strange, or C, Shogun?
All right, I got my answer.
I'm not going to lie. I'm taking a guess at this one. I know it's one of the two, but because I know what year Star Wars Holiday Special came out, but I don't remember what year Phantom of the Park came out. That's my problem. Okay, I got my answer.
All right.
Yeah.
I took a swing at that one.
I know when Phantom of the Park was released, but still trying to figure out when Shogun and that other one came out. When
was Phantom of the Park released?
You already have your answer down? 78.
Yeah. Crap. I got one wrong. Yeah. Dang it.
It wasn't 77, so
that's what I was thinking.
That.
I was like, man, did it come out in 77? Because around there. Yeah. So, all right. Number one. What movie did Paul W.S. Anderson direct that Mila Jovovich starred in that wasn't Resident Evil?
I got that one. That one's in the bag.
That was B, The Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
We all got that one.
Yep. Number two. What was the ancient tower made out of? A. Kushala Daora.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. That was a guess.
And number 3, Shogun was the other movie.
I got all 3 too.
Did you get all 3?
Yeah.
Dang, I missed one. Ruben, did you get all 3?
Yeah, I did. I guessed. I just guessed that some ancient. That sounded like an ancient mineral or something.
Pearl. It was all that freaking Shogun or that question, man. Dang it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So we get to choose.
I had no idea what year that came out.
So me and Ruben get to choose a
Wait,
movie
what is
that
Shogun?
you have to watch.
Hold on.
I almost did Star Wars myself, but then I remembered Kiss was 78.
Yeah.
Well, see, I didn't know what year that was
Shogun was like another TV event that was out of this world.
Wait a minute. What was Shogun?
I don't remember. I remember it was popular. I never watched it.
Because I've never seen that.
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't? That was on NBC. It was a whole
series. I'm not going to lie. Like when I read Shogun and the questions, my mind instantly went to The Last Dragon. No.
This was like
the Shogun of Harlem.
It was like It was. I mean, I saw. We as a kid, you saw anything that had, that kind of stuff in it. Battling and all that. But it was like a miniseries. I believe it was on NBC, and I think it was like a miniseries. It ran like for a week or so. If I remember correctly.
Did it run like an Oriental or an Asian setting?
Yeah.
Is that where that was? Yeah. I remember it.
Oh, okay. No, wait. So it was a miniseries?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, then I boycott the question. The question was what movie?
Oh, wait a minute.
What movie?
I can't. I got it right, but I could boycott B too.
What?
Because that was in a video game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's I guess so.
It does.
All right. Well, I missed that one.
When I objected, Sludge said, "Too bad," didn't he, Mark?
He did.
All right.
Yes,
Sludge lost to you two, thanks to you old men knowing what Shogun was, because I had no freaking clue. I've never even heard it. But I'm telling you, well, either like I'm just lacking there, or that's just how. Because I did. When I read Shogun, my mind went to the Shogun of Harlem from The Last Dragon. Like that's all I could think of. All right. What am I freaking watching, you two?
Oh, wow.
Mark, you got something? You want me to throw in one of mine? I figured you haven't picked yet, have you?
I haven't picked, and
so I'll give it to you.
And he has to watch it, right?
Yes, I have to watch it. Yeah. I am not going to face a penalty. We saw what your penalty was.
Okay, yeah.
I am not taking
in that case, I'm going to go Titanic.
No, we're talking. No, we were talking like monster movies. The genre.
Are you changing the rules? Okay.
We're supposed to. That's all I've picked was monster movies.
Plan 9 from Outer Space is yours to watch.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool with that.
That's the lowest rated movie I've got on my list here.
Really?
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys. Okay, that's fine. But do you think? Because I was doing some reading on it. Do you think that's really the worst movie ever made?
No,
it's not. Right?
No.
I don't think it is.
Without even thinking, without even putting any thought of it, I could instantly name 3 movies that are far worse than Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Can I take that back then?
Why?
Well, I'm just looking. How about The Ginger Dead Man?
The Ginger Dead Man?
Yeah.
I've never even heard of The Ginger Dead Man.
That is my pick. The Ginger Dead Man.
The Ginger Dead. What year did that come out?
2005.
Let me see the cover to that.
Man, that has like an 80s vibe.
Oh my gosh. Title. No, I have seen that movie.
Really?
I thought it was called The Gingerbread Man.
Did you just sit
that
around
movie is freaking hilarious, dude. That is
come on, Mark.
That movie's about as dumb as a box of rocks. That is a blast of a film. Yeah, I'll take it. The Ginger Dead Man.
My bad.
You'd be hard pressed to find a monster movie I haven't seen, man. That just happens. Sorry.
So wrong.
So is that it? Am I doing The Ginger Dead Man? Or am I doing Plan 9 from Outer Space? Or Ruben, what was your pick?
Yeah,
you want me? Yours you're going to watch. If I would have picked, it was going to be Prophecy 1979, not the Prophecy with Christopher Walken, but Prophecy from 1979.
That's on the Plex, isn't it?
With the mutant bear?
Yeah.
Can I pick which one of the three I
No,
want to watch?
no.
With Adrian from Rocky?
He's already got that one on the play.
See, now I'm gonna go ahead and scratch that one out and you will do the Ginger Dead Man.
All right, Ginger Dead Man it is. Like, y'all pick. I'm loving you guys. Thanks for picking these movies, man.
Oh, my gosh.
This is great. I don't know. I might start losing on purpose. This is,
Whatever. Whatever.
A Prophecy. I saw that at the movies and walked out so disappointed.
I love that movie, man. I was like 8, 9 years old when I watched it. That mutant bear was bomb.
Yeah, there was.
I did not. I remember watching it. I'm like, all I knew is Adrian got killed. Adrian was in it from Rocky.
Man, I love
it. Shera was in it.
Loved it. All right, so yes, I will take it to that one.
Since I don't have to watch it, we'll give him the worst one, which is
the Ginger Dead Man.
Dead Man.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm
gonna have to rethink my bad movies because you guys are just liking everything I pick. So.
Dude, I mean, like, of course.
Wait a minute, I did hit a home run with Kronos. So
no, you did hit a home run with that.
I did hit a home run with that one.
That was bad.
And I noticed he put a picture of that.
Yeah.
Talked about us.
We have to rethink the rules of the
film.
We have to rethink the rules of the social media. Like, there's a limit to what garbage we can put on there. That was rough. That y'all wait. I mean, I win the next one. I mean, I've got some movies in the back of my mind where like y'all will. Well, I'll tell you.
Ruben,
you want to know which two I had?
Did you talk to Charlie any last week while Chase was gone?
Me?
Yeah.
No,
okay.
I did not.
Just checking. Well, I was wondering how he didn't know 2 of the 3 of those questions supposedly and got them right. I didn't know if he talked.
I know.
I didn't know if he talked to Charlie while you were
not
out of
playing
town.
the Monster Hunter video games.
Oh yeah, I know.
Look,
I know.
I mean, think of the logical. This is all logic. Okay. So, Remains of dragons. No, it was not bony. There's no bones in it.
Well, you don't know.
Stone. When the stones were glowing, so it was not stone, right? So that only left one answer.
Oh, okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Checking. Yeah.
He had this plan down.
So,
you
have to approach this logically.
Well, and then then like Three Musketeers. Yeah. How many people have really seen that version of the Three Musketeers?
I hadn't seen it, but I've seen it in the credits for Mila Jovovich. I saw it on her credits, and I knew it was directed by her. Yeah,
see, that's what studying does for you. Studying helps out. Yeah. I should have studied a little bit for question 3, or just figured out what Shogun was.
Some of the stuff I do in preparation for any podcast that we're doing is I bring up the movie and I am the database, and I kind of look at the direction, the producers, how much it made, and I bring up the director also, and there was a correlation there. So I remember that. Yeah.
Well, do you guys want to know what I had as far as your options on this one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So the 2 I had picked, and I mean, honestly, I don't save them. Like, I just think of them usually and write them down before we get to this section. Yeah. I had either The Last Shark. Would y'all ever know what that is?
No.
That is the Italian rip-off remake of Jaws.
Okay.
That is a garbage film. Or God Monster of Indian Flats.
Oh yeah, I didn't know either one of those.
Yeah, that is about a giant mutant sheep. And I'm not talking about Black Sheep, like the great horror comedy that came from Australia, like back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
No, this was like 1979 or something like that.
Oh man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Well, all I know is, Mark, we got to reach out to Pete because he knows a lot of bad movies.
So you got that right. That's who we need to talk to.
I fully support that.
Pete, we need some help.
Yeah, reach out to Pete. He'll pick out some winners.
Oh, yeah.
You never. But then at the same time, they might be in cahoots just like him and Charlie.
Well, this is true.
I'm just saying there's a chance that me and Pete like torturing ourselves with the same type of films. That's all. It just might so happen that that's what made our friendship bloom, was that we liked doing that.
Although I will say he thought he was like Ship of Monsters. Of course, Mark didn't like that, but I enjoyed it, and I think he really thought he was going to throw us for a loop.
That was so good, man.
But I like Ship of Monsters.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I've watched it again since the episode.
Are you kidding me?
No. If the listeners could only see Mark's face right now. If the listeners can only see Mark's face right now. Oh, my goodness. It's priceless.
You really watched it again?
Yeah. Like that was the most, like, that was the perfect if you look up the word shock in the dictionary, that picture of your face is what was needed right there. That was the perfect look of shock.
How could you watch
deer in headlights moment? Like what?
Yeah, it was crazy. I wish our listeners could see that.
It just didn't sink in, and it's like, wow. He's telling me he really watched that again.
Oh, dude, that movie cracked me up.
It didn't have to.
Oh, I loved it. It's still on the Plex, man. I ain't get rid of that.
I agree. There's something going on there, Ruben, with him and Pete. There's something going on there.
All right. Well, guys, thank you all so much. We have a blast doing this. Hopefully you guys enjoy listening to us doing these episodes because we have fun. So even if you don't like it, we don't care. No, we do care, but we just had too much fun on our own. So, but man, stay tuned. Next month is going to be a really big fun month. We are doing a birthday celebration, I guess, for me, and which we'll do one for Mark and we'll do one for Ruben. Oh, yes. By the way, Ruben has got, because of this music stuff that he's been doing, the Monster Mash Wednesdays, which hopefully you guys checked out the first one. He showed us finally the list earlier today of like the next like 6 or 7 he's got picked out. Yep. Man, and there's some great ones. This Wednesdays is going to be awesome. But this Wednesdays has caused Ruben to pick up books and start reading again, which is pretty cool. So talk a little bit about it because I want to really promote the Monster Mash Wednesdays you're doing.
Well, as y'all know, this past Wednesday I released the track of Call of Cthulhu by Metallica. And in doing the research for that song, I actually picked up the book by H.P. Lovecraft and I started reading it. I've got a book that has most of his stories in it. So I picked it up and just kind of read it to get a feel for it again. It's been a long time since I looked at it. And I tell you what, it got me to reading again. I picked it up and I couldn't put it down. I even moved it from the bookshelf over to the coffee table so it would be there because I hadn't been doing a lot of reading. It's been a while. I always told myself I didn't have time. Well, it's that I didn't have time. I was just doing something else instead. So that particular track, and it got me to reading H.P. Lovecraft's work again. And I got to tell you, because it's got a lot of good stuff in it. And I got to tell you, it got me to reading, and I really enjoyed doing it. I hope the reaction is great to this track. And what I have coming up is a little bit different. It's going to go back to a movie soundtrack. I won't give you a hint. Maybe I'll throw it down in the social media pages here before next Wednesday. But I really had fun doing Call of Cthulhu. It was one of my favorite songs. And as you saw that I picked actually Michael Kamen's version, which is even longer than the 842 of the studio track. But I think it really lent itself. So it really lent itself to be improved. It was actually improved. So I thought that was great. So that's why I did that. And for our next one, we're going to go back. Like I said, I'll give you a little hint. We're going back to a more traditional movie soundtrack. And that's all we're going to I'm going to say about that. I'll just throw some more hints, but I'm really having fun doing this, and I hope you guys are enjoying it too. And don't be afraid to leave me feedback, whether I'm maybe getting too much detail or not enough detail. Again, if you have any suggestions for any new tracks or songs or anything that you'd like to see me do, I welcome it, man. Give me a shot. See what I could do with your favorite track. And that's it, man. That's all I got.
Oh, man, I'm stoked for it. So, again, you can only get the exclusive content from us. We've got The Underdogs on Mondays. And, of course, that's where we throw out, by decade, monster movies that may have been missed or under the radar because of other big films. These are The Underdogs, and we tell you why they're great movies. You need to check them out in case you missed them. Wednesdays, we've got, of course, all the monster music you can wish for coming from Ruben on Monster Mash Wednesdays. And Friday, we have the Friday Night Fights, where we pit 2 legendary monsters against each other, and you guys get to decide who wins. And Charlie continues to cheat, and I'm calling him out on that. And then Ruben jumped on the bandwagon last Friday when I did the David and then the world from the Dog Soldiers. I'm like, you two are getting out of control with this. But so that
well,
and
technically, I did choose a side.
How did you choose a side?
One is a dog soldier. The other is a werewolf. So which one did I pick?
You picked
the doggy.
Yeah, you did. That's
dog
right.
Soldier.
Okay. All right. So you did. All right. I'm going to let loose on Ruben there. But yeah, so follow us on Instagram. and join the group on Facebook, and that way you can get this exclusive content every single week. We got fresh content for you that's only found on our Facebook group and Instagram. Then, of course, make sure and follow all the other shows on the podcast network. Give Me Back My Action Movies, Give Me Back My Horror Movies. Of course, we got Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling now, Good Beer Bad Movie Night, and then, of course, Flynn Hendricks and Just Jeff's shows. They got the I Know You Hear Me and the Tales from the Haunt. Great show. Check all these shows out. Listen to them. Then these dudes put on they work really hard. Everyone works really hard to make sure and bring the best they can. So please check out all the shows on the network. And again, next month we had a lot of some cool stuff. For my birthday, we're going to do a double feature at the beginning of the month with my two favorite Ray Harryhausen films back to back. We're doing 20 Million Miles to Earth and The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. And then later on in the month, we for another monster film, we have picked the 2016 film The Monster, which is a little deeper than most of the monster movies we do, because there's definitely some underlying messaging in this one that kind of makes you think. So pretty stoked for that. And then, of course, next month, the biggest thing is we have got the first episode of the Stompy and Frank Show. So you guys have heard them by now, hopefully, with the new commercial that they just released. And, of course, they're starting to put their stuff up on the social media because they do have access to our social media. So you'll be hearing from Stompy and Frank periodically through the week and stuff. So
you're number one on Stompy's list, aren't you?
Yeah. Okay. So we had we had an argument the other day because I was on vacation and he kept freaking messaging me nonstop. Okay. About Monster Hunter, and and we started arguing about Monster Hunter. I'm like, because Toho made it, and it went from it doesn't matter that Toho helped make the movie because, and this is from Stompy. We all know TriStar made the best Godzilla film, so that caused quite a controversial argument, and I ended up hanging up on him. I'm like, I'm not continuing this.
I hope you told him if it's a Godzilla movie and doesn't have that Toho logo, the iconic Toho logo at the beginning, it's not a Godzilla film.
Not at all. Sorry, it is not. Stompy, you heard that, so he ain't here today. Like I said, Stompy's good, man. I mean, he does really good. Like, when it comes to I don't have to worry about editing the commercials anymore. He handles all that stuff. So I mean, like, that's a weight off my shoulders. He does a great job. He again is kind of, he's Stompy. But Frank's awesome. I'm pretty stoked. We're actually working on a little music piece for Frank, and dude is David Hasselhoff freaking fanatic, man. So it's kind of leaning towards a David Hasselhoff, but it'll be interesting to see from him. But again, the first episode for them, the Stompy and Frank Show, will premiere next month. It's going to be our first live video, it's our first video show. So we're going to be moving into some video production. Eventually, you will see the Monster Movie Stomp Down episodes themselves go into video shows as well. But we're going to kick it off with the Stompy and Frank Show. They're super stoked about it. It's going to be about a 15, 20-minute episode, and what they're going to do is they're going to kind of recap and give their opinions on the movies that we review. So, of course, we'll be doing 20 Million Miles to Earth, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and The Monster, and they're going to give you a recap of their opinions on those films.
Have they been here?
Yeah,
here in the studio.
Yeah.
My cushion's missing.
Are you telling me those?
Your cushion is missing.
My cushion is missing.
I didn't know. I bet it's freaking Stompy.
Yeah. It's gone. I've been in pain all night.
I didn't even notice that. Yeah, Stompy took it. I bet.
Yeah.
All I know is I want to hear what they have to say about the monster. That seems a little bit too deep for him.
It does. I'm worried about Frank. Frank's a sweetheart, but Frank is Frank. He's not the brightest crown in the box, even though he's the biggest sweetheart. But yeah, that one may be a little too deep for Frank.
Gotcha.
So I'm just not looking forward to Stompy's opinion on it because it's probably going to be crap. But I guarantee that's where your cushion went.
Oh, it's gone, man.
Well, because they were here. Cushion. Yeah, they were here just a couple weeks ago. Working, we were doing that new commercial, and got into a little.
And I've looked everywhere. That cushion's just gone.
You know what else is gone? The charger for my iPad.
It is.
I had to go buy no joke. I had to go buy a new charger for my iPad tonight because that's how we do the shows.
Yeah. And
Ruben calls in
on cassette's gone too.
What?
Is the Celine Dion cassette gone, Mark?
No, the Celine Dion cassette is still over here, unfortunately.
Wait, what'd you say?
Celine Dion cassette, it's still over here.
Oh, I thought, didn't he say that was missing or something a couple weeks ago?
No, I didn't say it was missing.
I thought he did
that every time.
What else you got over there?
That's a good point. I mean, what
else you got over there?
Don't worry about what's over there. We're talking about things missing from there. So since Stompy has been here, I'm going to talk to him. My iPad charger's missing. Your butt cushion's missing from your chair.
Yes.
So
there's a problem. You need to, go ahead and write that down.
Write that down.
So we know
I guess neither one of them thought highly of Celine Dion and just left it.
Well, if anybody likes Celine Dion, it's going to be Frank. Frank will be all about it, I think. So.
Oh, Lordy.
They'll be here this week, so I think they're coming in Thursday. So I'm about to bring up the.
I want my cushion back. I want my cushion back.
Yep. So Mark's accusing Stompy of stealing the cushion. So all right, guys, thank you all so much. Again, next month we have got a big month, double feature of my two favorite Ray Harryhausen films. Great deep monster film with the monster, and of course, please be looking out for the Stompy and Frank's debut episode. It is going to be an absolute blast. Now, of course, the episode for the Stompy and Frank show, you will be able to listen to it on all the podcast channels normally. So Podbean, Spotify, Apple iTunes, Apple Podcasts. I mean, everywhere the podcast show plays, the audio will play. But if you want to watch the actual video show itself, you will have to go to our YouTube channel. So make sure you go to our YouTube channel. You can find it very easily, Monster Movie Stomp Down. Subscribe and follow the channel, and then that is where their video shows will be premiering. So make sure you go find us on YouTube. Get prepared for that. Again, like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the little notification bell. That way when they pop up, you'll get those. Also, so Stompy's been doing a great job again, even though I think he is stealing things from here. He's doing a great job. If you guys haven't noticed, we are now doing pre-show trailers for the movies, like we did with the Leprechaun and Rampage. That's all Stompy. Stompy's been doing a great job with that. So you want to see those trailers, we do put them on our social medias, but of course they're also on the YouTube page. So please go.
Great.
Go follow us on YouTube so you can make sure and check out their show, because it is going to be interesting. I will tell you that much. But again, thank you all so much. This is Sludge.
And Mark.
You got Ruben in Texas.
Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Good night, y'all.
Come on, you think? You want to live forever?
Now what?
But no matter what happens, Godzilla will win.
Tell her we are recording.
Here, you answer. You better speak.
Excuse me, but we're recording.
Excuse me, I don't work. Is that where you're supposed to be right now?
Oh, not me. You're talking to Chase.
Yeah, you're talking to Chase.
Sorry, Chase.
That's all right.
Oh, God. She never says sorry to me.